Hi everyone, this is Nellie from Ordinary People Saintly Souls, and today I would like to talk to you about Judas because Jesus is visiting Lazarus, who lives in Bethany, that is about 2 miles walking distance from Jerusalem, and he talks about the crucifixion. He prepares Lazarus for the crucifixion, and I have my little book here, so you see me reading, but most of it I will summarize for you. And so after Jesus has raised Lazarus from the dead, that has happened a few weeks before this, he comes back, and this is about a week before Palm Sunday, so 2 weeks or 10 days before the crucifixion. And I wanted to start talking with Judas, because without Judas, Jesus would not have been betrayed. And I think a lot of us do not understand Judas. We actually don't learn very much about him from the New Testament, apart from that, in the end, he betrayed the person who loved him most and that he spent at least 3 years with and who he saw doing all kinds of miracles. So as Jesus prepares Nazareth, at that same time, he actually knows that Judas will betray him. And Lazarus asks, why? Why would he do that? And I'm going to read a little bit for you, a few lines. These are on page 191 of the 5th volume of the Poem of the Man God, the book that has the visions of Valtorta. And he said, he is tired of waiting. He wants to get rid of me. And he feels that I'm a personal danger to him. I'm paraphrasing, by the way. In his way of thinking, in Judas' way of thinking, he feels that he can gain a good reputation with the great ones of this world when he betrays Jesus. But instead, he will be despised. He will be despised by both good people as well as by criminals. And Judas has become tired of me, says Jesus. He is tired of waiting what he has tried to achieve in every way. Human grandeur, which he pursued first in the temple, and then he believed he would get it by joining his forces with the quote-unquote king of Israel. And now he is seeking once again in the temple and plans to approach the Romans. And he hopes that the Romans will cooperate with him. But Rome does not reward people who are not loyal. And so Jesus summarizes, Judas is tired of me, he's tired of waiting, and he is tired of the burden of being good. Because for those who are wicked, to have to pretend to be good is an overwhelming burden. It can be borne for a little bit of time, but then it can no longer be endured. And you have to get rid of it to become free. But then what is free? That is what the wicked one thinks. He thinks he'll be free, but he will not be free. Because only to belong to God is true freedom. So then Lazarus asks Jesus, who on earth is that? And he guesses that it is going to be Judas. But Jesus says, no, it won't be Judas any longer. When it really happens, it will be Satan. God took flesh in me, Jesus, and Satan will take flesh in him, Judas. And then Jesus tells Lazarus a bit more about how many in Jerusalem want to silence him. And that, although at first it will seem different, the whole of Jerusalem is about to rage against him. At that moment, Jesus starts to cry, not for himself, but he's thinking about his mother. Because he thinks about what she has to go through to see her son suffer like this. I am human, Lazarus, he says. The cross will not be so heavy as the torture of my spirit, of my feelings. because his mother gave Jesus strength and consolation throughout his childhood, his ministry, and she simply would die if she would know what he is about to go through. And yet he knows she wants to be close to him, so he does not send her to Lazarus' house to stay away from Jerusalem. And Jesus doesn't want the disciples to know, because according to him, if they knew, there would be blood. And so he asked Lazarus if the disciples can come to his house, and when it all happens, and when they flee, basically, after Jesus gets arrested. And he instructs Lazarus to tell them that he will forgive them for running away. He should give them comfort. He should console them. But will they run away, says Lazarus? Oh yeah, all of them except for John, does Jesus say. So then Jesus continues talking about the crucifixion. I'm now at page 193. And Jesus says, actually, I'm already dead. I'm killed before it actually happens. Because I'm killed by lack of love, more than by torture. So this is the first part about Judas. And in the next video, I'll talk about the next part, where we see Judas actually go to the Jewish leaders, the leaders of the so-called Sanhedrin. See you later. This was Nelly for Ordinary People, Saintly Souls.